One thing I want to say is that I have not watched many Super Bowls due to the fact that I have not been alive long enough. Most of this list will be newer Super Bowls, but the others will be ones that were very famous and I wish I could have watched. Number 10, Super Bowl 50, Broncos vs. Panthers. This was obviously not one of the best Super Bowls, but I was thrilled when the Panthers lost. The Broncos obviously took a lot of time to beat the 17-1 team. It was also an honor to watch Peyton Manning, who in my opinion is the greatest of all time, play his last game. Number 9, Giants vs. Bills. I was not alive to watch this game, but any Super Bowl that the Giants win, I love. Also, one thing you'll figure out about me is that I love close games. The Giants beat the Bills by just 1 point due to a missed kick. This has a great part in the history of the Super Bowl. Number 8, Rams vs. Titans. This was by far one of the greatest Super Bowls ever. You would never know that one little tackle could change the whole game. That was the case for the Rams when they stopped Titans receiver from scoring a touchdown in the last seconds of the Super Bowl. This was the first Super Bowl victory for the Rams. Can they do it again this year? Number 7, 49ers vs. Bengals. This was another very close Super Bowl. I picked this game because it was such a crazy game, and I like games that are decided towards the end of the games. If I can pick one team to come back to the NFL so I could watch them, it would definitely be the 49ers with Jerry Rice and Joe Montana. Number 6, Eagles vs. Patriots. This was the newest Super Bowl, and even the people who have watched all the Super Bowls would probably have this game on the top 10. Even though being a New York Giant fan and an Eagle hater, I still have to admit, it was unbelievable what Nick Foles did. Most people can't beat the Patriots, period. But Nick Foles beat him as a backup in the Super Bowl. Number 5, Ravens vs. 49ers. This was one of the closest Super Bowls, and I think it's cool that both the quarterbacks that started are quarterbacks that you would never see in the Super Bowl today, in Joe Flacco and Colin Kaepernick. Ultimately, the Ravens came over on top. This was also the first Super Bowl where the head coaches were brothers. Number 4, Steelers vs. Cardinals. If I could pick any Super Bowl to go back to and watch again, it would be this Super Bowl. It had many of the most iconic plays and had one of the greatest endings in Super Bowl history. It seemed like when one team would have the win, the other would ruin it. Anyway, this is my 4th favorite Super Bowl. Number 3, Patriots vs. Seahawks. This Super Bowl was another one with a crazy ending, and in fact, the next 2 will both have crazy endings. Anyways, this is one of my favorite Super Bowls because it had a huge debate. Should the Seahawks run the ball with Lynch or pass it? Also, I thought that the Seahawks had it until the Patriots had to intercept it. Number 2, Giants vs. Patriots. Like I said, I'd like any game that the Giants win, but this one was extra special because they beat the 18-0 Patriots in such a crazy ending. The Giants has only went 10-6 that year, so always remember, never give up on the underdog. This is a game that I could watch 10 times in a row. Go Giants! Number 1, Patriots vs. Falcons. This was an honor to watch. It was the greatest comeback in the Super Bowl ever, and they did it in such a special way. I also think that Julian Edelman's catch was the greatest Super Bowl catch ever. I can imagine that it's super hard to even have the confidence to make a 25-point comeback in the Super Bowl, but Tom Brady did it, and that's why I have it at my favorite Super Bowl ever.